Hi everyone, welcome to the 95th episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host Ryan Ziaks, and today I'm joined by filmmaker Matthew Koza.
It's me. Thank you for having me on. I'm super excited to be here.
Of course, I'm excited to have you, and I'd like to shout out episode 31 guest Chen for technical directing once again. So Matt, you know what I do here? I interview people and get to know them better, and I'm excited to get cozy with Koza here on the Zicast. So how about you kick things off by telling us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so obviously I'm Matt Koza. What I like doing most is in film is being an assistant director. This is my last year here, my grad year. I'll be gone after this. But yeah, this is fifth year it's this year. So yeah, graduating tomorrow. So
yeah. And where are you from?
I'm from Wallingford, Connecticut. It's like 15 minutes down the road, so really close.
And I share that as a North Havener.
Yes,
it's also about essentially the same distance away. So let's get into your interest in filmmaking, being an assistant director, and tell us where that all started.
So it started it was actually, I think, my second year here. No, third year here, second half of this semester. I was in QFS, which for people that don't know, that's the Quinnipiac Film Society. It's like a film club essentially at school. And every semester we do like a production, and I wanted to be the AD of the production. I believe it was called Little Dipper is the name of that one that we did, and we chose roles, and I wanted to be AD because I was thinking about doing that for my senior capstone, my senior capstone film. So once I applied, I guess would be the right term for that role, and I got it, and yeah, that's where it started. So
yeah, and of course we really met because we were able to work together on the short film through Quinnipiac Film Society, Sleight of Hand. Take us through that process, because you were able to write and then be the assistant director for that.
So for Sleight of Hand, I wrote that really just because I really wanted to have like something that I could show for kind of, and I really wanted to just to have like that one thing that like I wrote and I got to work on. It's still not out yet, but I hope that eventually it comes out. Right now we're just trying to find out who's gonna be editing it, but for that, I wrote that. It took me, and I'm friends with people in the club, so and anyone can do this, but I had them read it over, and give advice and all that, and then I wasn't the AD on that. I was the executive producer. No, because I couldn't direct it. I wanted to, but since I was doing my senior thesis at the time, they were like, no, you can't direct, since I was, because it would be like a conflict of interest as a thing in the QFS rule book, I guess.
Yes.
So I got to executive produce it, and Flynn directed it, and we worked closely on the creative collaborative process of it. So
yeah, of course, myself, former Zicast guest Emily McManaman, were in it as well. And do you mind giving us the log line for the film?
Oh yeah, I probably should have done that. So pretty much what Sleight of Hand was, it was like a thief. It's been a long time since.
I know, it feels like 4 years ago now.
Yeah. So it was like a pickpocket thief that was like pickpocketing people on a college campus. Ran into somebody he shouldn't have. His name was Landon, and once that happened, he kind of had to he tried stealing. What was it? He stole from Landon, and then Landon saw that, oh, you're pretty good at what you do. I need you to steal this ring that I gave to my girlfriend, and then they broke up. So he wanted the ring back. Yeah. So it was all about stealing the ring from his girlfriend. Yeah. Landon's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. So it's this like noir kind of sort of heist, if you would want to call it that, kind of like drama,
like a heist thing. Kind of something like that. And it was it was nice because it was all on a college campus, so it was practical to do here. And I think that's partially why it was chosen. I wrote that in mind to have it on a college campus, so it would be able to be produced.
Producible as the executive
producible.
producer. Of course, I played Arthur the Thief.
Yes.
It was pre-Aura Ryan Ziaks before
Pre-Aura,
I got my beard.
Yeah.
And of course, our friend Anthony Guadagna was Landon. And it's always funny because Landon's like a jock. So we needed a varsity jacket. So I provided him my varsity jacket. Yeah. So on it just says Ziaks. So canonically, his name is Landon Ziaks.
Yes, that is the canon. Yeah, a little behind the scenes there.
of it all. And like kind of what it, of course, the film hasn't been able to be, at least as of this time of this recording, isn't released yet. What did that all mean to you to be able to write something and then be able to be an executive producer of it?
Yeah, so it was really great. I as I said before, I always wanted like that one thing that I wrote myself and that I got to help make. And yeah, it was a great experience working with Flynn, who was the director. He did a great job with all of the directing duties and all that, and the whole crew was great. And yeah, it was great working on like a thing like that with a bunch of different people, a whole club. You know, it's probably about 15 people, and you know, it was just really nice to be there on set and see how, you know, everything works. And it was great prep for my capstone as well, which we filmed like probably about a month or two after that. So
yeah. And I'll ask you about that. And just talking about this film was a fun blast from the past.
I know,
I'm sure for you as well, because it was one of the first things I did here on Quinnipiac, and that helped me kind of integrate myself a lot into the film community. And it kind of came full circle because I was able to do kind of like what you did, which was write, and then thankfully, in my own regard, I was able to direct. No capstone conflict. I was able to direct the project. So for QFS production. So it's kind of a fun full circle moment. But tell us about your capstone thesis and what you were able to make with that.
Yeah, so my capstone, I was the assistant director on it. It was called One Night Only.
Yes.
And that's about a playwright who it's like their last big show before they graduate, and it's about everyone coming together and working together to make something special. And that kind of reflected our experience last year. Most of our team was graduating and leaving, you know, Quinnipiac for good. So it was kind of like that last hoorah, and it reflected it. Yeah. So that was great to work on. So that was that.
And I had your director Will Tier on the Zicast.
Oh yes, Will. Yes. Yeah. I wasn't sure if he was on or not. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. And of course, very meta story, naturally, like kind of like what you mentioned. And kind of tell us more, like, did that make you want to be an assistant director more, being able to work on that set?
Yeah. So that definitely, like, since then I've done more AD work, and it's becoming just like the thing I do now, which is great. And yeah, like that was my first like real good AD experience, because on the QFS productions, it's not as like intense as like an actual like capstone thesis, because you know we had money involved with the capstone thesis, you know, crowdfunding, all that. So there's a lot more stakes, I guess you could say. So, that was the capstone was a lot more in depth than that, but that was. Yeah, I don't remember what the original question was. I start trailing off. So.
Oh, it was really just about kind of like what your caps and what you're able to do in that. But I know you were also able to do a lot of like crew work, which is kind of, well, technically where we met, which was on Quinnipiac Tonight, the sketch comedy club, or sketch comedy show here. Tell us more about that and like what you enjoyed about that.
Yeah, so Quinnipiac Tonight, it was a lot of fun. I joined, I think before you were here, but I think I joined. It was the first half of my third year. I joined that and just kind of got into it. I didn't really know too many people in the club at that time, but once the second half of the semester started and I went to Sundance and stuff, I met a lot more people and became a lot like, closer with people in that club. So it was just great getting to work with friends on things. And obviously the live shows on Thursday, always a great time, and super funny and talented people in that club. So that was a great time.
And you always had mutual friends in there too that helped you keep going. And you mentioned Sundance. What year were you able to go to Sundance?
So that was also my third year. In the winter is when we went. Were you on that trip, that Sundance? I don't remember.
I was not on the same one as you, so it must have been before I got here. Tell us about that and getting to go to Park City.
Yeah, so Sundance was great. I mean, that was my first like actual time like going anywhere on my own because I've been a commuter like my whole time. So like I didn't live at like school or anything. So I've lived at home my entire life up to that point. So it was a new experience for sure, being away from home, not with family. But it was like a super great experience. I met all of my friends. Like that trip, if I didn't go on that trip, I don't know where I'd be today. Yeah. Like I've literally met everyone that I'm really close with today on that trip. And then obviously meeting them, I met more people, you know, through that. So yeah, I mean, that trip quite literally like defined my college experience. That's like the greatest thing I got to do.
Yeah. Do you have any like specific memories or anything you want to share from that trip? Like any moments? Yeah.
So one moment that always sticks out to me is, we were just walking around Park City. It was myself and I think Michael Katz Flynn was there. Yeah. Alex Bean was there. These are, I think, people you've had on before. And there was a couple other people. I don't remember exactly who. But we went just to like this random talk. It was about I think about like sci-fi and movies and that going forward. I think the director of a film there called Pi Generation was speaking. Yeah. And that was a film I was really excited about. So we all decided to go to this panel. And completely randomly, one of the hosts was Ahmed Best, who plays Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars, and I'm a big Star Wars fan. Like, so him just randomly being there, I was like, oh my god, that's just Ahmed Best who played Jar Jar, and he gave a super cool speech, and then afterward, he ended up walking out, and we got a picture with him, and that was great. I was like, just a crazy experience meeting somebody famous like that, just out of the blue. Especially from something I love so much was probably the highlight of that trip.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about Sundance is kind of these celebrities there in this very laid back environment where just with people who love film. And that also reminds me, you've been to a lot of kind of like conventions like that where you've been able to meet some of your idols from Star Wars. Any fun stories from that?
Yeah, so one of the greatest memories I have was about 2 summers ago. Myself, Anthony Wadania, who played Landon, and also Ben Darling. We went to Fan Expo in Boston together, and we went with the intention of meeting Hayden Christensen, who played Anakin in Star Wars. So we went there. It was a super great time, just like the 3 of us. You know, I've always loved going to conventions, and I've been before, but this is my first time going with like a group of friends. So we waited in line to meet Hayden, and there was like, you know, people love that guy. I mean, like I've seen like girls and stuff that meet him, and like he's so suave with them. Like I saw a post recently on Twitter. It was like this girl Matt Hayden, and she was like, "Can I kiss you?" And he's like, "Of course you can." And it's like, you know how much raise you gotta have just to have people coming up to you being like, "Oh, can I kiss you?" You know, like that's crazy. But yeah, he was a super cool guy. He shook all of our hands, and yeah, it was great getting to meet him, and especially from like one of the most famous actors in Star Wars. So that was great.
Yeah, weren't they like telling you not to like shake his hand? But...
Yeah. People in the line were like the staff there. They were like, no touching, no anything, and I was like, okay, like obviously if he doesn't want that, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. But there were like people in line, like this one girl in front of us. She's like, "Can we hug him? I want to get," and like I don't know, she was being weird about it. But yeah, like the staff was like, no doing any of that. So that was fine when we went up there, and you know, and then he put his hand out to us. So like, I'm not gonna not shake his hand if he's offering. I just thought it was weird how like the staff would be like, "Oh yeah, he doesn't want to do any of that," but like he motioned to do that, and he was doing that for everyone. So that was a nice gesture to show that he really like cares about the fans and stuff like that.
The evil empire trying to keep you away from.
I know,
from Anakin.
Keeping me away from Hayden.
Cool. Anyone else you were able to meet outside of Hayden Christensen?
So some other celebrities I've met Ewan McGregor.
Who played Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he was at. This wasn't at the same. This was the year before I met Ewan McGregor at Fan Expo Boston, but also Anthony Daniels, who plays C-3PO. Yeah. That's my favorite Star Wars character. So
really?
Yeah, when I saw he was gonna be in Boston, I'm like, I have to go. So yeah.
Why C-3PO out of curiosity?
I don't know. He's always just kind of like, I guess maybe like kind of like speaks to me. Like he's kind of like the anxious, like nervous one. Always has like, always trying to keep it like, you know, practical and stuff. I think that's kind of how I am too. So maybe I saw myself in him. But yeah, he's always my favorite since I've long as I can remember. So.
Yeah, because once you said that, I was gonna say that kind of makes sense. You give C-3PO a little bit.
I give C-3PO energy. Yeah,
I say that's a compliment because
Yeah.
C-3PO is an icon. But that's really cool. You were able to meet all of these icons from your favorite franchise. Any like fun interactions with any of them?
Not that I can specifically remember from those three, but the year after we met Hayden, we went back with an even bigger group, and we met D. Bradley Baker.
Oh, nice. The
who
voice
voices
of the
the
clones.
clones in Star Wars. Yeah, so his interaction was really neat because I went up to him and I was like, "Oh, who's your favorite clone?" And he told me that his favorite clones are Rex and Crosshair.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, and those were like his favorite to voice, and it's so cool. Like he could like the clones, they sound similar, right?
Yeah.
Because they're all the same.
The same guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the way he can change his voice to sound more like specifically like one was super cool to see.
Yeah.
Like in person. So that's probably my favorite experience of meeting somebody like that. But I can go on about other people I've met through cons, but yeah.
Yeah. And D. Bradley, that's something that's always kind of his talent is just like almost like perplexing. His ability,
know,
like you mentioned, to like those like simple inflections when you're watching something like the Clone Wars or the Bad Batch, where he can just like be these different clones like that sound so similar but so different. And who else have you, if you have any other fun interactions?
Yeah, this one completely escaped my mind, but most recently I met this was a couple months ago at I think it was the CT GamerCon in Mohegan Sun is where it was. And for people that don't know me, my favorite video game of all time is Red Dead Redemption 2. And I always wanted to meet Roger Clark and Rob Wiedoff. Roger Clark plays Arthur, and Rob Wiedoff plays John Marston. And I really wanted to meet them. That's been like a goal I've had. It's like those are my favorite characters, and I'd love to meet them one day. And when I heard they were both going to be at Mohegan Sun, I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah.
So I went there and I met them, which was something I've always wanted to do, and it was a really great experience. And Roger Clark, he's a professor at adjunct professor at Quinnipiac University. When I met him, he was wearing a Bobcats hat.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I go to school there. Yeah. And he was like, oh, and, that was super cool. And we talked a little bit, and yeah, it was just really cool. And I remember when I first heard that he was going to be teaching at Quinnipiac, I was like, it was like a mind-blowing thing.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh my God, like this guy who's like my favorite video game character of all time is just a professor at my school now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a super, super cool experience meeting them.
Yeah, it goes to show the kind of talent Quinnipiac's able to roll in as well, and then it's that kind of like surreal moment too, because he was teaching like a motion capture.
Yeah, he was doing a motion capture class, and he'd done like a talk there beforehand, but I didn't know about that, so I didn't get to go to that talk. But yeah, when I found out that some of my friends were going to be in the mocap class, I think Sean Valutkevich, who I think was a guest recently, he actually got to like work out like a scene with him in the class he was teaching.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so that's a cool little story that he has with him too.
Getting a yes and from Arthur Morgan.
I know, yeah.
It's definitely surreal. So
yeah,
to kind of keep moving towards a galaxy far, far away, Matt, I'd like to ask you, what are some things people might not know about you, like fun facts?
I have a dog. I have a cat at home. My dog's name is Sadie. She's like a mix between like a pit bull, a terrier, a bunch of different dogs.
Yeah.
I like her very much. She's a great pet. But yeah, I can't think of any, of course, off the top of my head now that I'm on the spot, but I'm sure there's more. But yeah, I can't think of any, but I guess embarrassing.
No worries at all. But of course, you love Star Wars.
Yes.
What's one thing you love and one thing you strongly dislike?
Something I love about Star Wars right now, it's Andor.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Andor. It's such a great show. I don't know how they go so in depth with like the writing. It's because it's completely different from any other Star Wars show. I don't know, have you seen any of it yet? Yeah. So yeah, just like the writing that Tony Gilroy, he obviously has like a writer's room, and he works with a bunch of different people just to make the show so great. And it's on its second season right now.
Yeah.
We're actually next week at the time we're filming this is the final 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So they release like 3 episode arcs every year closer to the Battle of Yavin, which is like when Luke blows up the Death Star. So yeah, that's coming to an end soon, and like the last 2 episodes. I don't know if you've seen them.
I've not. I've seen season 2.
Yeah, I won't spoil them, but some of the best
Mm.
like Star Wars, just any action
Yeah.
I've seen in such a long time. So that's one thing I absolutely love about Star Wars, and obviously I'm a big fan of the movies too. The sequel is not too much, but
Yeah.
people harp on those all the time.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't want to crap on those movies anymore. There's good things about them, and there's bad things about them. But something I guess I don't like is, and I realized this recently. I was watching Tales of the Underworld, which is a animated series that just came out on May the 4th, actually. And like watching that after watching Andor, I was like, God, like I just can't. Like I just like
Yeah.
I'm not
You can't
interested.
go back.
Yeah, like, and this was never the case even after season 1 of Andor, but now just with season 2, it's just like blowing me away. It's like, so I guess one thing I don't like is kind of how like this is like the last thing as of right now that we know Tony Gilroy's
Yeah.
doing, and then it's just like go back to the same like Dave Filoni stuff,
Yeah.
which like to his credit he does good work. Like he's done the Clone Wars, he's done Mandalorian, and stuff like that. But like just like I don't know, I feel like the story that Tony Gilroy is telling with Andor is just so much stronger
Yeah.
than any of the other like more recent Star Wars stuff we've gotten. I'm gonna be sad to see that kind of go and go back to the same old like Mandalorian and
Yeah.
Ahsoka season 2. Like sure that stuff is entertaining, but it just doesn't compare in quality to Andor.
Yeah. So we hope the quality of Star Wars goes up. What are some of your hopes and dreams professionally or in general?
So hopes and dreams professionally, since I'm graduating
Yeah.
tomorrow, what I would love to do is my plan right now is to go on to work on like a news station
Yeah.
and then get into the DGA that way. I didn't know this was a thing, but apparently they have like working on a news station that you can get into the DGA
Okay.
somehow that way.
What is the DGA?
It's the Directors Guild of America.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so me wanting to be a first AD one day in the future, to be like work on like sets professionally, you kind of need to be in the DGA. So my goal right now is to work at like a news station. Hopefully they have that that entryway. I don't know
Yeah.
if they all do, but someone that I know was able to work at a news station in Boston, and now she's DGA affiliated. So I hope that wherever I end up working, I can at like a news station I can find that path.
Yeah.
I don't know the ins and outs of it yet. I have to do more research. But yeah, if I can do that, that would be ideal. And then hopefully work on movies. That's like that's the ultimate goal. And
Exactly.
the ultimate goal, I guess, would be to work on a Star Wars production of some kind. As anything, I'll be a background actor. I'll do anything. I'll be a PA. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just getting to work on a Star Wars project would be the ultimate goal
Yeah.
one day. But yeah, I would love to be an AD one day, even if it's just on like indie films.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting out there, and starting small, and then kind of working my way up and see where that goes. But yeah, that's my goal one day. And then I look way into the future. Who knows if this will happen? But after like I've done like kind of like my circuit, my run in like the professional world, I think I'd like to like just become like a professor at like a university. Like a lot of our professors here, they worked in the industry and now they're like professors, and it's just like and they also work in the industry at like the same time.
Yeah.
So like maybe a few 20, 30 years down the road, that might be something I want to do. Just because I feel like it's eventually I'd like to like kind of like settle down.
Yeah.
Like the thing that's so crazy about the film industry, it's like it's very hard to like have like a family and like a nailed down lifestyle, because it's so like unknown, like whether you'll be working on a film for like a year or like a couple 9 months or whatever, and then you might not get work for a year, and then you have to travel, obviously, if you're filming in a different part of the world, like so it's very even like professors have told us this and I've read it, it's like very hard to kind of like settle down. And I'd like to have the lights went out. I'd like to have like a wife and like kids someday. So that would be like maybe after I do all the fun in Hollywood, I'd like to really settle down and have a family. So
it's nice that you've kind of drawn out like this kind of like concrete plan for you. No plans are ever really concrete, but like this like very clear vision of
like a roadmap.
Yeah, exactly.
Kinda,
like going into news, so you get into the DGA, and then trying to pursue whatever you can in film, but also having the ultimate goal of Star Wars, but then also understanding that there's going to be a natural time when you just want to be able to wind down and be able to find some stability. So, of course, you want to make a Star Wars movie. You love Star Wars. What are some of your favorite movies?
Favorite movies, just of all time or in Star Wars in general?
All time, just general.
Okay, so I think on my Letterboxd top 4 right now. For people that don't know, Letterboxd, it's like a movie rating app essentially, for like film nerds, like ourselves. But
exactly.
Yeah. My favorite movie of all time is probably Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. My favorite Star Wars movie as well. The one I watched most growing up. I can remember just sitting there. Like the Jabba's palace, seeing all that, and the Ewok battle. I just remember loving that stuff as a kid, and even now today. But yeah, so Return of the Jedi is definitely my favorite movie of all time. My favorite Star Wars movie. After that, Jurassic Park. I like dinosaurs. I mean, who doesn't? They're cool. So, and that movie, I think, it was so ahead of its time.
Exactly.
The animatronics also mixed with the CGI. It still holds up today, in my opinion. I wish some of the Jurassic World movies were better. But I know Jurassic World, the new one is coming out soon. I think it's called Rebirth. And it looks promising, so I'm hoping that one can be really good. So, that's the hope. But Jurassic Park, then Whiplash, I think, is on there too. That's that's like my one movie that's like, oh, I'm a film student, this is my fancy movie. But yeah, Whiplash is on there. I mean, that's like a great, just like very tense movie, and it's not even about like war or anything. It's about playing the drums. But somehow it's so tense and just gripping, and I love that movie. And also the Minecraft movie is on there. More of a joke, but the Minecraft movie came out recently, or a Minecraft movie, I think is what it's officially called. But a bunch of us went to that. I think you might have been there.
Oh, I was there.
Yeah.
Chicken Jackie.
Yeah, Chicken Jackie. Yeah, that's that was probably the greatest movie-going experience I've ever had. And Steve's Lava Chicken, I know the song by heart. I don't know if that's something I should be flexing or not, but that movie is just super goofy, and it was crazy. Everyone in the theater cheering and applauding when Steve says all the stupid lines that he says. But that was a crazy movie-going experience. So
we can flex being able to make this episode of the Zicast. I'd like to thank you so much for coming on, Matt. And do you have any
having me on?
motivational words or plugs or anything you want to leave the audience with?
I guess it would really be take a risk, take a chance, and going to Sundance was something I was really nervous about and really scared about doing. I know it's cliche to say take risk and take chances, but for anyone who's in college or even not in college, I'd say it's really important to kind of take risks, take chances, and do something that's out of your comfort zone. Definitely. Because you never know where that might lead you. With Sundance, that was the big thing for me, and it I probably wouldn't be sitting here today doing the Zicast if I hadn't done something like that. I met all the great people I met on that trip, and then people from that trip. So that'd be, I know it's cliche to say take a risk, but really it's something I think people should do, especially if you're in college. It's a good time to explore kind of stuff like that. So
very meaningful advice. And of course, Matt, it's always fun. You're always a friendly face. It's great to be able to relate to you as a local Connecticutter. And I appreciate getting to work with you and be in so many friend groups with you, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a great time.
And as always, this is Ryan Ziaks for the Zicast, where everyone has a story. Signing off. Thank you so much for watching.